I think it's a good time to take a step back and reassess your business, and that's something we did in 2008, and I feel like it's a good time now. And really work on everything from your product to the way you message it to CRM and all kinds of things. I think the environment and the macro trend is going to shift, and you have to be able to flex with it and move with the current. So it's actually a good time to really assess everything. I don't know if you're doing that, Alex, but
I think that to be quite honest, 2008 was a really scary time for us.
Overnight. It happened overnight.
So this is not a really scary time for us, but it is a time, to think about. I mean, I don't know why our Middle Eastern customer in London is not showing up. There are a lot of suppositions that I hear, but I don't know that I have any particularly compelling. So look, there are a lot of things going on in the world that I think add up to a tremendous amount of uncertainty. People deciding they don't want to travel, and this is something that will pass. When it will pass is question. I think what we can do to combat it is make great product. We really have to inspire our customers to buy, and I think it can be done. We can inspire them to buy, despite uncertainty. We'll overcome with great product.
Okay. Question? Front.
Thank you. A balance of keeping tradition and who your brand is, and also adjusting to trend, because that is something that is also ever changing. So I guess, is it more important for you to keep consistent in tradition of your brand and also consistent with like changing trend?
I mean, I'm always trying to move forward and think differently and be true to ourselves as a constant push and pull. And with me, I was a CEO and I'm a co-CEO, but I was running the company and a creative. So I would tell my design team that if it's not selling, I'm not really that interested. That said, I want to figure out what will sell going forward that we haven't offered. So it's that constant push and pull, and I think that tension is what makes it interesting. And as far as trend, we don't spend a lot of time thinking about trend. At our price point, I can tell you it's hard to just. We're working on designing beautiful things that didn't cost a fortune. That was a concept of the company. But it's hard to do that, and we just want to design the most beautiful things that we can for the least amount of money, and that's what we want. But we also want it to be relevant, and we hope to fit in trends, but it's not something that we focus on. I like classic ideas. I don't think I've asked Christy.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think that Tory was speaking about DNA before, and I think to be avant-garde, to be cutting edge, is a part of some brands' DNA. It's not a huge part of our DNA. I would agree again with Tory that it's striking the right balance. And I think that it gets particularly complicated when businesses challenge, because there is this pressure to do things that are safe. But I think a need to really inspire people to get back to shopping.
And under pressure, grace under pressure is important in these times, and I think you have to be a leader, and you have to engage your team, and you have to be excited and passionate, and hopefully that's what my team feels, is when things are really challenging is when you want to be doing your best work. You always want to do that, but it's pushing yourself to think differently.
Hi.
Oh, whoa. So we spend a lot of time, sorry, I can't look up, thinking about omni-channel. and how do we make it a seamless experience for our customers? So she can buy and order 3 sizes of a pant to see what fits her online, and then she can return it into any store. But how do we make that easier, quicker? When you think about what Amazon is doing, that's something I'm interested in. They're having drones deliver product now. So what does that mean? I think we're constantly challenging ourselves to think about the concept of omni, how to make it a seamless experience, how to get product to customers. We also have a concept of consignment. And for me, if someone sends me a bag of clothes and says, try things on, do you want a piece? And we'll pick it up, that's easy. So that's kind of an interesting way that we're looking at it as well. Do you do that actually?
Yeah, well, we don't have drones, but
Nor do I.
I think that ultimately, the rise of e-commerce means less bricks and mortar. I think it's as simple as that. I think what's not simple is what happens in between. I have been hugely surprised by the velocity with which consumers have embraced e-commerce shopping. In fact, I think that we're overcreated online. I think she has too many choices, e-commerce to buy Oscar rent a product. And I think that the increasing embrace of consumers shopping digitally has major implications for a business like ours. Perhaps Tory and her team, I'm sure Tory are ahead of it, but things like she's gonna buy 3 and return 2, that's a new one for us. And it's one we're having to deal with. And having the inventory, having the logistics infrastructure, having the people to deal with all of that is gonna be hugely important in the future. And so I think we're just sorting that out. But I think ultimately, it means less bricks and mortar. Maybe it means less but bigger bricks and mortar. Maybe it goes back to that experience thing where your stores are going to be your showrooms where you really tell your story a 3-dimensional way. I don't know.
Do we have time for one final question?
How might there be a solution to that, right? Without there being direct collusion, either amongst brands or perhaps amongst retailers, right? Particularly with wholesalers asking for things sooner and us as brands trying to supply the needs of the retailers. And then of course the next question.
So I think there's a whole way of looking at it, and I was telling Vanessa earlier this evening, I'm sort of obsessed with the concept of fast fashion, even though our brand doesn't apply for a bit higher price point and takes a little more time. But I like another idea of testing product. And a company I know will do a caftan and do 3 different caftans, put it in 5 stores. Then they'll test it, they'll gauge the customer, and then they'll make it quickly. And I think supply chain is being challenged. I think production is being challenged, and it's also challenging because everywhere's shifting. China's getting more expensive, Europe's getting less expensive. So it's a constant moving piece, and we can never just sit still. I think that's the answer. We always have to be trying to evolve and adapt. And I think adaptability is going to be key as we go into the future. Want to agree?
Yeah, I mean, look, I agree. I think that there's a little bit of BCG study. I think it's going to be a little bit every man for himself. I think that, like you said, if people are not going to, the idea of being coordinated is at best exceedingly difficult. I think that a lot of traditional relationships, brands, wholesalers, customers, all of that stuff is getting bended. All of it is, for me, extremely frustrating right now. So I think that in that frustration, in that change, there's clearly opportunity. And the people who experiment, I think it's going to be difficult for us to experiment with something like a caftan as sewing those beads on.
Yeah.
I can't ramp up the supply chain to fill stores with good products. But the idea of experimenting, the idea of adapting in small ways and in big ways has always been important, and it's going to continue to be hugely important. It's exciting.
Great. Please join me in thanking our panel.
At this time, we'd like like to ask our guests that are seated in the theater and those that have gold wristbands to please remain seated. Those that have gold wristbands but are not seated in the theater, please come to the stage, and you will be.
Oh, okay, great. Most boys interact absolutely. Yeah. That was Vanessa Friedman from the Tory.